Good day. Welcome to Slicing and Dicing Real Estate in on our podcast today. And here we have Marie, and we're going to talk about different habits, food, um, creating good habits, and how to move forward in life. So, Marie, would you like to introduce yourself? Oh, also, she's into real estate. She just acquired. They acquired their team acquired a 10 unit or 11.
11 units.
11 units. Very nice.
Yeah, it's
Congratulations.
exciting. Well, thank you for having me here. Um, yes, so my name is Marie France. I want to help people that have a carb addiction. It's something that I've lived with my entire life, and I've learned so much from it over the years. I want to share my knowledge, and I want to help people so they don't get to the point where I'm at today.
Very nice. Yeah. So obviously, we look at knowledge and then we look at experience. So that's the great thing because it's your part of your life and your lifestyle and everything. We get to hear the experience from it instead of just somebody reading it from a book. But this is actually the experience from it. So can you tell us a bit about, how your life was, where you want it to be, and how you're going to get it there, or how are you going there?
Okay, so let's start where I was. So I'll give you a little bit of background where it all started. So I was adopted when I was 3 years old. I remember the people I was living with at the time. They were not my birth parents. So I came into this brand new family, and they had a certain way of living. Now, mind you, I don't hold anything against them because that's all they knew. That's how they grew up. You don't know, a lot of people don't make changes because they don't know they can make those changes. So they keep on living the way they were taught how to live. So growing up, food was a major component of how we lived. It was a center of everything, but not in a positive way. So we were told, and I know a lot of people, funny enough, were told that whether it's in English Canada or French or in Quebec. I'm from Quebec, so I grew up in a French environment. But we were told, well, you have to eat everything that's on your plate because people in China don't have any food.
Yeah, I've heard that growing up as well. Not China,
I've
but there's
no
people in
idea
the world. There's people in the world with no food, and look at you. You're wasting food and stuff like that. Yeah,
exactly. So, and the food that was on our plate was not proportional to our age. There was always a lot of food on our plate. So it was not a good thing. And then food was also used as a punishment. If I didn't, I remember this one time, I my mom was cooking something. And again, this is nothing against my mom. I totally love my mom. But she was cooking something on the stove, and I had been told not to touch it. And, as a child, um, I was under 10 years old. I went and took some of it. And of course, my mom always knew everything and saw everything. And so, as punishment, she made me sit at the table and eat fat from a ham that she had taken off after the ham was cooked. So, when you grow up with food being a good thing, being a bad thing, it creates a mindset. It creates bad habits. So you become You start having a love and hate relationship with food. And if that doesn't change, that will create huge problems. So this is where I'm coming from. And my love and hate relationship with food has lasted my entire life. I'm 59 years old. So it's been a long life of love and hate with my food and battles. So this is where I come from. What was your second um
So where would you want it to be? Like where, like our first goal is to identify where we are and where we have been. And then the second one would be where do we want, what do we want to achieve? Where do we want to what goal do we want to reach?
okay, and then how we're going to do that.
Yeah, and then how we're going to do it.
Okay, so my goal is to lose weight, to become more active, to be able to participate in activities that my family does, my grandchildren do. I'm 59 years old, but there are days I feel like I'm 80 years old because I don't have the lifestyle that one I used to have and want to have again. I'm too young to no longer live the life that I want. So this is where I want to go. Um, Currently, I have diabetes that stems from all that, the carb addiction and not eating the food that I should have been eating. I love pasta and I love my bread and rice and I love sugar and I love dessert.
Yeah,
And that was such a huge part of my life and eating my emotions as well because of what happened when I was a kid. I've been eating my emotions my entire life. So I'm happy, I go to food. I'm not happy, I go to food. I'm upset, I go to food. So food was everything. It has been the center of my life for way too long. So now I am reaping the consequences. So I'm now working at reversing the damage that I've done and how I'm going to do that. So, first of all, um, mindset is a huge thing. And I didn't realize that until not that long ago. And thanks to my daughter in law, who also helped me in that regards. So, for years, I've been saying, oh, I have a carb addiction. I have a carb addiction. Well, as long as I say I have a carb addiction, I'm going to have a carb addiction. I am feeding into my brain what I want. So if I tell my brain I have a carb addiction, then my brain's going to turn around and say, "Yes, Marie, I agree with you. You have a carb addiction."
you're right. And it's not going to look for solutions.
No,
It's
and
the
this
same,
goes. Go ahead.
sorry. It's the same as when we get asked, uh, can you get $1 million? And the first thing most people say is they either have it or they don't have it, right? And what happens is when we answer that as no, we don't have it, our brain shuts down and doesn't look for it. If we say, um, if we say, let me think about it, or let me, you know, uh, you open up the possibilities, um, then the brain will constantly look for solutions because that's what the brain does, right?
Yes, the brain is such a marvelous thing. It's how we use it that makes it good or not so good.
Right.
It's
That video we just watched about, our inputting on our thoughts, right? What we input the thoughts in, we have to change the thoughts and what we're feeding the brain so that the outcome will evolve into that, right? Or from
yes,
that.
yes, and it's the same with any carb addiction. The one thing that makes what we perceive as a carb addiction is that we have to eat to live.
Yeah.
So that takes it to steps, and I'm not putting down or downgrading smoking addiction or what people will also view as alcohol addiction. I'm not doing that. All I'm saying is that you can make a choice not to bring alcohol and cigarettes into your home. You cannot make a choice of not bring food into your home because you need to eat in order to live.
right? It's just the handling and the understanding, um, and the responsibilities of it.
Yes, exactly. So first comes the mindset where you have to re-educate how you think and what you say, and that's crucial. Then there's um, the perspective. Um, how can I put that? Um,
So changing the perspective is very important for me. It's
yes,
understanding uh it's changing it well, changing your thoughts changes your perspective. So in order to see things differently, like some people, I would, I would not buy a fancy car. They're like, we make the same amount of money, you can afford the car. But to me, I look at the car as a liability. They look at it as, oh, they've got to live life. They only live once. Well, if they live today, perhaps maybe happier, and tomorrow they might be sadder because they have nothing left. And then I'm okay because I'm living within my means. So
hmm,
that perspective, the more that we learn, I always say the more we learn, the more we earn, because it gives us that perspective. It's an understanding, and it helps create wisdom, how to utilize the knowledge, taking action on it.
yeah. So basically, what we need to do is we need to change how we look at food.
Yeah.
So food can be used as fuel, or it can be used as a reward, and it can be used the way I used it. You know, eating your emotions. So the other thing that food can also be for you, it can be healing. So we need to decide how we look at food. Is it going to be fuel and healing, or is it going to be where it's going to keep on hurting me? So first it's the mindset, how, you know, what I say, what I think, and then it's how I look at things, and then it's about choices. So we have to change what we eat in order to get better. And you know how they say if you do the same thing over and over, expecting a different outcome. Well, it's the same thing with food. You know, eat the same thing over and over again and different, expecting a different outcome. It's not going to happen.
So
We
that's a very good point that you bring up about understanding the food that we eat and what it does, and the volumes that we need to attain from it. Now, carbs, just to if correct me if I'm wrong, but carbs are things like, for who doesn't know, carbs are like bread, rice, potatoes, pasta, and carbs. Those things like that turn into sugar.
and they also have and some of them have sugar. Like pasta has sugar in it.
Yeah, the sauces as well.
Bread has sugar in it. But
Yeah.
it's not just that. I'll give you an example. So when I go grocery shopping now, I look at the labels, because if I don't look at the labels, I'm going to end up buying something that I can't eat. I mean, case in point, last week, I really like sushi food and I really like the seaweed salad. So I went to the grocery store and I bought a tiny container of seaweed salad. And then just before I ate it, I thought, let's look at the label. I didn't look at the label. Ingredient number two, sugar. Well, there went the salad. I will not eat anything that has sugar. I'm at the grocery store and I really like my hot Italian sausages. So if you look at the mild one, It has dextrose, it has sugar, it has all these other things that you don't have a clue what it is. But the ones that I buy only have pork, salt, and water. Okay, that's good. But the other one is not.
Right. Yeah.
So we have to become aware of what we buy. Now there's something else that's also considered a carb. So you have your bad carbs and you have your good carbs. Man-made food that falls under the carb section is considered a bad carb because of everything that's been added to it, and the way the like wheat is not what wheat was 100 years ago.
Right. Yeah.
I keep on saying that the pioneers, before the modern world as we call it, they all lived on a farm and they all made their food from scratch. They didn't have the health problems we have today because everything was pure. Nothing has had been modified.
Yeah. Refined, processed.
Yes, it's enriched flour. What's with that? You bleach it and then you add more ingredients into it. Why? So
That's
anyway,
it's funny because presentation, it we seem to be overwhelmed with presentation, the whitest of breads, the whitest of sugars, but it's all been
oof,
refined. It's all been processed,
yes, yes,
all
and
been bleached.
yeah.
It's what it it looks better in a presentation, but it's worse for our health.
Oh, it's toxic. We eat so much toxic food for our bodies. So diabetes is on the rise, heart attack is on the rise, health issues are on the rise.
Yeah.
And it's not something that we can keep ignoring because it's our future that's at stake. I want to be here in 10 years. Had I not made the changes, I would not be here in 10 years, right?
Yeah.
Now, the other thing, the other carb, which is a really good carb to have, is your vegetables.
Oh,
They're also
I knew
considered carbs.
vegetables. I didn't know there was carbs in the vegetables. So
Yes, vegetables are considered carbs, but they are good carbs. They are good for us, right?
yeah.
Now, not everybody can afford to buy organic. Organic is better. Um, and I have transitioned to that as much as I can because it's not always available. But
Backyard best.
I'm sorry?
Backyard is best. Growing your own.
Oh, backyard is the absolute best. Yes, definitely, definitely. Uh, s- I don't know if you this guy, if you heard about that, but this guy did an experiment about a fast food. I won't say the name. A fast food burger that they left in the wrap for months, and when they went back to it and looked at it, it hadn't changed. There was no mold. There was nothing. So that tells you just how many preservatives and chemicals and bad stuff are in that burger.
We've
So
had bread. We've had bread that all of a sudden it's like 2, 3 weeks old, and it's like, wow, it looks like the day we bought it. Still soft, crunchy, like like it's what's in it? It's funny because I know people that work in the food industry, and one of the people work uh for a food, but it's like you said, 3, 4 ingredients. That's it, like sourdough. Uh, very basic ingredients. It only has a shelf life of 2, 3 days because there's no preservatives in it, but it's the best for us.
yes, and so I eat rye bread now, and I also have sourdough, and the ingredient is pretty much rye. There's no wheat. I will not touch anything that has wheat in it. So when I buy it, because I know it doesn't last long, I put it in the freezer, and then I take out only what I need to take out.
Right. And the toaster brings it back like,
Yes, you let it thaw out a little bit, and then put it in the toaster, and it's fine.
do you know how long it actually can be kept in the freezer? There must be a different, it extends the life, but for how long? You know,
I don't know, but because the loaves are so tiny,
you don't keep them very long, but
it
it
doesn't
does.
stay in the freezer very long. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
but
Yes.
it does help so you don't have to consume it within like 3 days. You can have it for like 3 weeks and it should be,
Oh, yes.
yeah,
Yes, yes, yes. Definitely. Now, if you put it, it might help if you put it in an airtight container.
yeah.
I don't know. I leave mine in the bag because really it doesn't last long in my freezer. So I did an experiment. Well, I didn't experiment. I did, but it was not on purpose. It just happened
It was the
at
best one
Christmas time.
sometimes.
Yes, yes. It was definitely a aha moment. I had some romaine lettuce in my fridge, and at Christmas time, I veered away from what I normally eat because it's Christmas, right? And so my lettuce last was in my fridge for about 2 weeks, and there was barely any mold on it.
Mm,
Well, that lettuce should have been totally moldy by then.
nice. We um we keep our lettuce in the fridge. I'm not in control of it. I just from observation. Uh,
Yeah,
but ours
but
isn't.
yeah, it shouldn't last 2 weeks in the fridge. So now I buy my. That's when I decided, okay, it's time to go organic.
Oh, yeah.
Now, granted, not everybody can afford organic. I mean, if you have a big family, it's more difficult to do organic. But if you cannot do organic, then clean your vegetables with water and baking soda.
And dry them too. I notice my wife
Yes.
dries them. She pats dries them with a paper towel.
Yes. You can also get containers that help keeps your fruits and your vegetables um, um, fresher longer. Not to advertise for them, but Tupperware has these containers, and there's two little knobs that, when open, air comes in. When they're closed, air doesn't come in, and it tells you on the container uh, which way to open one, open two, close two, open two, depending on the fruits and the vegetables that you put in the containers, and
Oh,
that helps to keep your fruits and vegetables good longer.
very nice. Yeah. So one of the things I noticed you said, you read the ingredients and it was the
Mhm.
second thing on the ingredient list. That means something, right?
Oh, it's huge.
Where it's located on the ingredients list. From my understanding is the first thing on the ingredients is the most content, right? So if it's
Yes,
almond milk and milk is the first ingredients, that means that milk is the most percentage of
correct.
the product. So when
Yes,
you say sugar was the second ingredient, that means sugar was the second largest product that was in that.
yes, yes. So that becomes toxic.
Yeah. And I
Yes.
think they're supposed to be identifying all the different sugars and separating them now because before they would put it under glucose, this and all these
Hmm.
names, and people are just like, oh, sugar's down at the bottom. Yeah.
No,
And there's
no.
five different ones in front of it.
Yeah. Have you ever seen the study they did about Coca-Cola and the amount of sugar in them?
Yeah. I just seen
Second.
one last week, spaghetti sauces.
Hmm.
There's a fair bit of sugar in spaghetti sauces. And in
Yeah.
some parts of the world, their peanut butter is heavy in sugar and their ketchups.
Well, here too. I buy ketchup now that has no sugar. When I buy peanut butter, which is not often, but when I do, it's the one that all the only ingredients you have in it is peanuts.
And what's used to preserve it?
The sh-
The oil? I could ask Julie about that.
um, I'm not 100%
The shelf life could be
sure.
much shorter, right?
Yes, yes, it's not going to last as long. But I mean, peanuts are peanuts. It's not something that will necessarily go bad. It will take quite a bit of time to go bad. It's what I would say is more likely to go bad much faster is like fresh fruits and vegetables and meat. Anything that has a shelf life to begin with
And there's
will go bad faster if there's no preservatives and sugar in it. There's a lot of ingredients that no need to have any of that, and it will last quite a bit of time.
right. So one of the other things is there's a food out there that has, as far as I know, an infinity shelf life.
Water?
Mm, water, yes and no, right? Um, you just
Sorry,
water.
I couldn't help myself. What
Well,
ingredient? What
there's
product?
there's the one meal that's gluten free, sugar free, lactose free, meat free. That's a bowl of ice cubes, but
Oh,
it's
yeah,
it's
but
not
it
that.
no, because it melts.
It's honey,
Oh, pure honey
honey, honey that they found in the pyramids is actually consumable.
in the pyramids. Oh,
Yeah. So honey, why honey has a shelf life in the store? It's because of the container and stuff it's in. But the
plastic.
pro- but the product itself, it's
Yeah,
a very
that
uh
that's an you make a good point there. That's another thing. Containers.
yeah, and we're tell me we're not something's not coming off of those plastics.
I just mentioned plastic containers that are really good for your food. Mind you, you eat it a lot faster than you would certain other things, but yes, now that I think about it, there's chemicals in plastic.
Yeah, all
It
the water
has to
bottles.
seep. Yeah, it has to seep into our food.
Yeah, heating and contracting and cold and hot and oh yeah, it's got to be doing something.
I didn't think of that.
Yeah, I like we were doing pretty good on recyclable growing up. Everything seemed like it was in glass recyclable containers. The milk jugs were plastic, but they were reusable and stuff. You got a credit back and everything instead of all these plastic bags. You got 3 bags of milk in a bag, in a plastic
Mhm.
bag. There's waste there. The
Yes,
family going through 3 bags a week, 52. So you got 52 outside bags. You have 52 times three. You've got 156 little bags for every family there is, or
it's
at
a
least
lot.
in North America that consume milk. It's a fair bit of garbage that could be completely avoided.
Yeah, I'm not contributing to that.
Paper bags, they went to plastic. Plastic was going to save the world. Now they're going back to paper.
Oh,
It's
paper is much better than plastic. Plastic doesn't disintegrate. Paper does.
Yeah, well, plastic takes a lot longer to break down, that's for sure. Paper is very quick, and there's so many different products that we could use that's very fast. Hemp, bamboo, where it's a fast producing, very strong, and it could go back into the earth and recycle. But for whatever reason, I feel they just want to carbon tax us and tell us they're going to change the world, and to me, it's right now all I see is a big slush fund.
Oh, yes. Yes.
So,
But that's going to change at some point.
well, we constantly
There's
change like the
changes
water
coming up.
moving.
Yes. Now, I was saying earlier, I don't do the plastic bags for the milk. I used to drink a bag of milk a day before, years and years ago, and then one day I gave up milk. It's been years since I have milk. I drink water now.
Yeah.
I don't drink pop because of the sugar. Um, I've really made a lot of changes into what I drink and what I eat.
And a lot
And
of times it's awareness.
yes, and it's The milk thing was done years ago. I also became lactose intolerant at some point because I love my cheese.
Oh,
And I stopped eating my cheese for quite some time and did a bit of a reset to my body, and I can eat cheese again. But I have to be careful in how how much cheese I eat, right? Mind you, I'm changing what I eat again in order to. So I still have my diabetes, unfortunately, because of those choices that I've made. So this is a battle, and I've I've gone to my naturopath, and we've made a change to what I'm going to eat to try and lower my blood sugar, because even though I'm eating well, it's not going down. So my resistance is pretty bad. So I'm going to change what I eat again, and it's going to help me learn more about food. So one step further, right? It,
right. Yeah,
it
awareness is very good. Identifying
yes,
it, seeing it, and learning, and just slowly but surely continuing to improve ourselves. Right? If we improve ourselves 1% each day, just imagine the outcome. The other thing is if anybody was looking to learn more or to just to talk and to find out more about this, and where can they reach you at
they can reach me on Facebook, Messenger.
under your full name?
Yeah, Marie hyphen France, like you see at the top there on where I am
Yeah.
with the purple. I'm a purple girl. And the last name is Aruda, Arruda.
Okay.
So I'm on Facebook. I'm not that okay. I'm not really on TikTok or the other social media, but that's gonna change soon. So through Facebook, you can reach me on Messenger, and you can also send me an email. So my email address is marie-smile at outlook.com.
Okay.
And just mention that it's regarding the,
Carb killing?
I'm sorry?
Carb killing? Carbs?
Yes, yes, just so that I know it's not junk.
For sure.
Because if I get email from people I don't know, I don't open them, I delete them. But if you put in it that it's food related, carb related, then I will definitely open it, and I will reach out to you.
Excellent. Well, I want to
Yeah,
thank you very much for coming on the show today. And just to summarize what we talked about, identifying where we are, looking at where we want to go and what we want to achieve. And then the last one is how to get there, putting
yes.
the action plan into place to reach our goals. So I want to thank everybody very much who watched this video. Please like, follow, and share.
Thank you so much for having me, Paul. It's great. Thank you. I appreciate it. And I appreciate you.
Okay, have yourself a great day.
You too. Thanks. Bye.